Welcome into the Moose Knuckle Fantasy Football Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Matt, Tony, Chris here, and we got another excellent show for you today. Week 2 in the books, and it went just as we all expected, where we had quarterbacks Joe Flacco, Jared Goff, and Carson Wentz near the top of the quarterback position. It was that kind of week. A lot of course correction, I guess you could call it. Guys that were bums in week 1 excelled in week 2. Guys you drafted late that you hope continued their week 1 high-octane point scoring probably didn't meet your expectations in week 2. Tony, you're the only guy that advanced to 2-0 in the Moose Knuckle Fantasy Football League. How are you feeling today?
In second place, it was a slim margin. Thought I was going to come out the next morning at first, but by a couple points, I'm in second place with the only other undefeated team in Team Skeet. And it feels good up there. Did not expect to be here when I drafted, but I will ride this pony as long as I can.
Skeet, indeed. Glad to hear you're riding high on that 2-0 record. Unfortunately, we cannot say the same for your Chicago Bears. If I could quote the Dennis Green, the Bears are who we thought they were. A heaping, steamy pile of trash. Speaking of trash, Chris, you're down there in the mucky muck with me with some of the lowest points scored in the Moose Knuckle League. How's the team going to respond as you make your way into week 3 against Rim Ranka?
Yeah, 100-point swing for me last week. Insane. But fantasy football humbles you. Sacco came out with a great performance to kind of bounce back to get to 1-1 himself. But just as importantly, we got 2 bottom feeders who are 0-2, and only 2 0-2 teams. I think if one of those teams goes to 0-3 this week, I think someone's gonna be shitting their pants. But again, just a great week 2, and can't wait to get into week 3.
Yeah, what did we see in week 2? We saw 6 wide receivers scoring 2 touchdowns, one scoring 3 touchdowns because Steph Diggs is officially that dude. Good week for that position, but kind of a quiet week at the running back position where we only saw 2 players scoring above 20 PPR fantasy points and only one of us 3 advancing to 2-0, like I mentioned earlier. So you guys didn't ask, but I'll say it anyway. My team was dreadful at each and every position. But like you were saying, Chris, these weeks happen. I did some waiver wire hunting. I made myself a trade to upgrade the tight end position. My starting quarterback has a fibula fracture and a ligament disruption to his ankle. He's done for the season with a long rehab process. So who knows what even next year may look like for Trey Lance. So,
and by the way, I called that too. I said that Jimmy G, I think we made a bet on this, Tony. Did we not? And I'm sorry to cut you off, but this was very important shit. I think we made a bet that Trey Lance would not be finishing the season for the 49ers. I think I got to go back 2 weeks to find it, Tony, but do you remember that?
You and I made a bet?
No, me and Dietrich made a bet.
Oh, yeah. Dietrich was very high. Yeah.
You mentioned it, and I believe your argument was performance related, not necessarily injury clause. But you did make that comment. You did, so you're looking like you're correct for this one. But hey, I went out and picked up our good friend of the podcast, Arlington Heights native Jimmy Garoppolo, who I will likely trot out there for Sunday Night Football. But enough of my team and its utter sadness. Tony, why don't you take us into the quick hits?
Yeah, let's get into what matters, the actual MMFL league, right? Not the NFL league. Our certified beefer of the week is Team Skeet at 163.06 points this week. Definitely put the licking on. Our lowest scoring team this week is the greatest of Goatsies at 66.68 points. Looking like a favorite for our Sacco of the Year. Oh, maybe he'll be a podcast friend here soon. MVP of week 2, Lamar Jackson, 49.62 points for the White Knucklers. And biggest bench performers, Tua, just throwing dimes this week at 52.86 points on Hold My Beers bench, Gavin. Some great fat pickups up this week. We had Jared Goff going to yours truly, Chris. Let's see, what'd you pay? $0 for that, mother? Really?
$0, yeah. Detroit, baby. Detroit Lions. They are a high-power offense. Amon St. Brown, DeAndre Swift, and just unbelievable right now. So yeah, I didn't think I was going to get him. I just picked him up for shits and giggles, depending on the Herbert situation. But very surprising that I got him when I woke up today.
You know who else is surprised? Our other partner in crime, Matt Dietrich, who also made a $0 claim.
Which and D for someone who needed a quarterback, you could have had him for $1, dude.
I was with you thinking that nobody else would bid on Jared Goff on the count that he's Jared Goff, and didn't think that anybody else would be nearly interested in him. I did pay handsomely for Jimmy Garoppolo, the handsome one himself, just because I'm in dire straits. I need a starting quarterback, and I knew very likely I might be the only bidder on Jimmy Garoppolo, but I needed to kind of invest just to secure the dude. So I dropped 22 fab to make sure he was landing on my roster, which he did, and I'm happy for that. I would have liked Jared Goff in place of Ryan Tannehill on the bench, but, great pickup, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael Gallup, I was in a similar situation. Here for the TDs, Evan got him for $4, but I also did not think anyone was looking his way, and went for the $0 bid and lost. Michael Gallup, he might play in week 3. We'll see. And the team looked not terrible without Dak. So we'll see what happens with that. And to round it out, Matt, you got New Orleans for $6, New Orleans defense. And Evan lost also with a $6 bid, lower waiver priority. That's a great value, Dietrich. Way to crystal ball your way into that pickup.
I think they're going to perform well this week. Defense is looking pretty stout, and for a $6 pickup, a lot of us were on the same wavelength here. A lot of different, same level bids, waiver priority, kind of determining who goes where. So I thought that was pretty interesting. What I also think is interesting is your pickup at the tight end position, Tony. Are you going to throw him in that starting lineup for week 3?
I am not going to throw him in this week, but it's a good bench stash. Maybe I'll look to trade Gerald Everett, and then maybe put him in there for fill in some maybe running back position or something. So I saw the targets and volume he was getting, had to snatch that guy up for nothing. Exactly. And we had our first trade of the week. Yours truly, Matty D, acquires the move, sending Kenny Gainwell and Evan Ingram over to Trevor. The trade that just went through minutes before the pod, 20 weeks. Oh, yeah. Wait, did he accept it?
That's you.
Did he accept
accepted it?
Oh, dude, you're kidding me. This is great news. I got Darrell Williams for nothing and traded him over to the James Conner owner for Rashad White, who I'm going to let sit on my bench. They're running a lot there in Tampa Bay, and I am excited to be the owner of this backfield.
It values both people. I liked the trade a lot. And hey, to comment on the previous trade, I'm really happy the Muth is on my squad. He was the tight end I was targeting at the draft. I got sniped like 3 picks before me. All it took was, I threw out a little feeler to Mr. Trevor. He said he wanted to sweeten the deal and get another tight end back on his bench for some reason. The guy's starting Mark Andrews. He's never going to have a time where he's going to have to start another tight end, seeing that Mark Andrews stays healthy throughout the season. But he wanted a tight end, so I spent 3 fab on Evan Ingram and immediately shipped him out hours later.
I love this trade, Dietrich, and don't lie. I heard, through my sources that there was another component to this trade that Trevor will also be receiving. Is that correct?
That is correct. I bribed him with a case of Busch Light and said that I'm a man of my word. I will either deliver this to Peoria or see him personally and drop it off. Your choice, Trevor. I also said I would seal the deal with a kiss. Offer still stands.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I just didn't want the beer to be left out. Shout out Busch Lattes.
Appreciate the back end input, but. Yeah, man, thank you so much for watching the waiver wire. Much closer than I was going to this pod. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you like Rashad White moving forward? Do you like that backfield, or?
Oh, I think it's a sneaky stash for sure.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about Rashad White in the preseason, and we were talking him up pretty highly. I think Leonard Fournette, he gets a lot of volume, But we've already seen him on the injury report. I think with a hamstring, Tony. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think it's a pretty thin backfield there, and he could become that dude pretty quickly.
He's top 5, I think, in touches. So yeah, I mean, you know what happens when you get that type of volume. But onto our NFL.
And look how banged up Tampa Bay is too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very well possible he gets out on the field there sooner than later.
Tommy Buns ain't looking so great. He's playing mad.
I think he was. I think he barely cracked the top 30 in week 1 and week 2, guys. This is a different Tom Brady we're seeing. I mean, we're seeing a very banged up wide receiver. The wide receiver depth chart is looking pretty scary in Tampa. And hey, they go against the Packers this week, guys. Fairly tough secondary there, so we'll see. I don't know if Tommy Buns can right the ship. I mean, this is going to be their home opener here. They were on the road for the first 2, so we'll see. We'll see if he's got what it takes.
Yeah.
I might have predicted the right year for the downfall of Tom Brady.
Yeah, and all it took for it was for his marriage to crumble, right? Like, just it's gotta have it.
I never brought that up. All right, that's his personal stuff. It was always Todd Bowles. You know, I've always blamed Todd Bowles for this.
Man, like, yeah, complete downfall. Just hate to see it. Like, I don't want to see him go out this way. After watching him dominate for 20 plus years.
Yeah, neither does his wife.
I'm rooting for the guy.
Me too.
Just not this week.
Yeah.
No, I think Green Bay will win.
Some NFL news we wanted to bring up. New York Giants wide receiver Kenny Galladay saying he's frustrated, as we understand, confused over his lacking role, and saying that this might potentially translate into a trade request. So I definitely understand where Kenny Galladay's coming from. If we're looking at total volume on the team, especially on the receiving side, we got Sterling Shepard at 14 targets, Richie James at 12, and then the running back Saquon Barkley at 11. How many has Kenny Galladay gotten? Let's come down here. What are we, like 5, 6, 7 spots at 2 targets on the season? What are you guys thinking, man? What's going on in New York?
Chris, do you know how many offensive snaps Kenny Galladay had in that win over the Panthers?
I think it was less than 2, but around 0, right? Was it 0?
No, you're right. He only saw 2 offensive snaps in that Sunday win with no stats.
Yeah.
This is a guy that they paid $72 million, a 4-year deal in free agency just last year.
NIU legend, man. Like, I think he's still got it in the tank. I mean, he's 29. Like, I don't see a team taking on this contract. Like, not even the Bears, who could probably use Kenny Galladay more than anyone. Like, I don't see the Bears trading anything for him and just say, hey, if you're not going to use him, cut him. We'll take a flyer on him then. But I don't think there's a trade market out there for Kenny G.
Best case scenario, save his legs, and then maybe he gets another deal later down the road, right?
The Giants can cut Galladay next spring and save $14 million against the cap. So it's hard to envision Galladay returning to the New York Giants in 2023.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's not like they have a solid number one either, though. There, right? It's like, all right, Sterling Shepard's not that sexy. Cardarius is not turning out that great. Like, Saquon got 11 targets in the first 2 games. Like, love that volume, but you're not playing the guy you gave all this money to. Why? He's arguably the most talented guy on the team. Like, why is he not getting the volume?
Yeah, right.
I have no idea.
Stafford's not there. Look what he's doing to, what's his name over in L.A. Cooper Kupp. It matters who's throwing him the ball. The other bit of news, the NFL upheld Mike Evans' 1-game suspension for hitting Saints cornerback Marshawn Lattimore. What a week. Yeah, very frustrated, obviously, with the coverage he was getting there. He's going to be officially out for Sunday's game versus the Green Bay Packers, which benefits our boy, Matt Dietrich. But I want to pose a question to you guys. Who is your Marshawn Lattimore of the MFFL? And I'll go first. Mine is Zach, Mr. 14. I was headed to the championship, so close to getting there and winning the whole thing when he put about 1 point something points in front of me and him. He was also my opponent last week, and I smashed that ass. So it always feels good when I can overcome a previous opponent. But I'm sure you guys have stories from the past in the MFFL. You guys have any Marshawn Lattimores in your closet?
Yeah, for me it'd probably be Holland. He's no longer in the league anymore, so I'll pass on Holland and dogging him. But for me, it's Zach as well. I mean, that's not a bitch ruined my perfect season as a 6 seed in 2018. I'm still not over it. So yeah, Zach can go to hell on this side too, guys.
I kind of figured that would be your response, Chris. Man, Lattimore just locks up Mike Evans. They've had a history, man. I don't know. It's in Evans' head, clearly. Don't you guys think? Because Evans is a playmaker. But for whatever reason, Marshawn Lattimore just doesn't let anything past him. But lately, mine, unfortunately, has been Trevor, who has been the taco of the league. He made the playoffs, I think, for the first time last year. And in the however many years he's been competing in the MFFL. And yours truly got to meet him in round 1 of the playoffs last year. And it was a round 1 exit for my team. And then last week, he stomped the shit out of me by almost 100-point victory. So, and his name is Dietrich a bitch. So everything is not going well. He doesn't do very well throughout the entire league, but for whatever reason, he likes to get he likes to beat my team's ass.
But you just made a trade with them.
That's true.
So is the fourth thing now that Freiermuth is going to get hurt, and then it's just like fuck.
Oh, man, I hope not. I think the Muth is on fire. I mean, look at the tight end position right now. Outside of, Andrews and Waller, it's a wasteland right now. And, our boy, Pat Freiermuth, he's getting some catches. He's getting some tutties. Mitch Trubisky's looking his way. I think things are on the upside, looking up for Pat Freiermuth. So, fingers crossed that he stays healthy now that he's on my team.
And as the guy who's facing the team who owns Mike Evans this week, couldn't be happier. Do I think he deserved the 1-game suspension? No, I really don't. But I am playing him this week, so nice job, Goodell.
All right, I'm from the news. Let's head into some injuries. Dietrich, take it away.
Yeah, I can blitz through these real quick. Much of these guys are going to be lining up for week 3, but Michael Pittman with the quad injury missed last week, returned to practice on Wednesday. If no setbacks, guys, I think he's going to be good to go. So roll him out. Start with confidence if he's out there on the field. J.K. Dobbins, recovering from that torn ACL. He was a full participant in practice Wednesday. Probably plays week 3. Guys, what are your thoughts there? Probably going to be a committee as he comes back. Probably shelf him for a week. What do you think? Are you going to roll him out there if you're a Dobbins owner?
Shelf him. I'm not ready to start him. You probably have other options.
Yeah, it's a crowded backfield. I think it's a wait and see approach if your team is capable. Gabe Davis with the ankle injury, limited at Wednesday's practice. He should play Sunday against the Miami Dolphins. Alvin Kamara, guys, the rib injury. He practiced Wednesday, on track to play in week 3. I think you start him. If you got him. Don't play Ingram. Don't play Tony Jones. Don't get cute with that. If Alvin's in the lineup, roll with him, and that's that. And Barker, this one's for you. Justin Herbert took a nasty shot to the ribs. Sounds like he's going to be ready, but I don't know if he's going to be at 100%. So who knows what a Herbert not at full strength is going to produce. So do you have concerns there at the quarterback position for your squad?
Dude, Thursday night was supposed to be a great game, right? Chargers, Chiefs. I picked Chargers to win the division. This was a big game for them. I saw 2 of my main players get fucking knocked out. First, Travis Kelce, that body slam was unreal. You want to talk about suspension? Right there. That almost ended my season, almost first heart attack on Thursday night. Second was Herbert. Don't like seeing it. Yeah, I thought my season was over on Thursday for real. So Herbert misses one play, drives the ball 99 yards. Pick sixes suck in our league. I don't know if anyone else drop a comment on the YouTube section on how you guys handle pick sixes in your league, because -6 points sucks. Not that it made a difference in my matchup, but that is a kick in the nuts. -6 points on a pick six. But the good thing about if Herbert misses this week is not an issue for me. He's going against the Jags, so as a Jags fan, great. I also own Trevor Lawrence, 12th ranked quarterback in fantasy right now. They play at the same time, obviously, so just easy swap at 3 o'clock for me. But this could have been a lot more serious, and this is going to linger all year.
To your advantage, I mean, he was seen throwing and lifting weights in practice today. So I don't know.
That kid's an animal. That kid is an animal.
And speaking of the Chargers, his number one weapon, Keenan Allen, dealing with a hamstring injury day to day. I think he's likely to go against Jacksonville, and I'm playing him if I got him. Right, boys?
100%.
Absolutely.
All right, I think that ends it for me in the injury report. Chris, we got ourselves quite the matchup for the Thursday night preview. You want to take us into this, bud?
Yeah, what a dumpster fire of a game. I'm not super excited about it, but we've got Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I do have a nice little parlay for you guys. So, Dietrich, I'm going to give it to you. Muth, 25 yards guaranteed. Shouldn't be an issue for you.
Lock it in.
I'm taking Cleveland. They're at home. This is a dog shit game. Cleveland had that very messed up loss to the Jets last week, returning that onside kick. My father's calling me right now. He will be ignored. He's the Knuckle Fantasy Podcast, Scott. So Cleveland money line. I'm not gonna fuck with the points this week. Kareem Hunt has had 46 rushing yards on the first 2 games this year, and I like him to plus 40. George Pickens has been quiet. I think other rookie receivers have been, getting a lot more action. Even Traylon Burks is, having a little bit better than Pickens, I think, at least last week. So I like him plus 25, him with a touchdown. That's the 5-game parlay. Other than that, I wouldn't touch this game. I think, Chubb blew his load last week with 3+ touchdowns. So we'll see how he does. But other than that, that's how I'm looking. What about you guys?
I'll just throw this stat in here because you were talking about the Browns. The Pittsburgh Steelers have had recent domination over the Cleveland Browns. So let me get the stat right here. 38-9 since Cleveland came back into the league in 1999.
And most of those was under the Ben Roethlisberger era.
That's true. Both of these teams coming off a pretty nasty loss too. 17-14 loss for the Steelers against the New England Patriots, and then the Browns just absolutely blew that 13-point lead in the final 2 minutes of that New York Jets game in week 2. So, I think I'm going to take the Browns at -4.5. It's going to be close, but I think if I'm going to take the spread for one of these teams, give me Cleveland.
Man. All right, well, I'll take Pittsburgh coming in. I think they're going to bounce back from last week. If they're going to be able to beat anybody, right? They beat the last year's Super Bowl contenders. I think they'll be able to bounce back against the Cleveland Browns, who are still trying to figure it out, as well as Pittsburgh. Deontay Johnson, he's had 22 targets, only caught 13 of those, where Claypool, he's had 12 targets, 14 touches with a couple of rushes, right? And that Claypool, man, week 1, he was the only other guy that ran faster than Saquon Barkley, at like 21.5 miles per hour. That boy is fast. I think they start gelling here heading into week 3 and take over Cleveland. So that's my bet.
It's going to be close. I don't know which way it's going to go. I'm going to try to lean the Cleveland side, but it could very well end up being a Steelers victory. But one thing I know I feel fairly confident when it's Mitch Trubisky versus Jacoby Brissett, it's going to hit the under 38.5.
Gee, that's so low. So low, man. I've smashed the over on what was it, the Bills game last week. I was off by 2 points. This seems like a trap on the under, man. It's hard. It's a hard call for me.
Guys, do you think this Donovan Peoples-Jones thing is anything? I'm going to play the "Is This Anything" game with him. Had a pretty nice week 1, kind of quiet week 2. Is it a get right game for him?
He's one of those guys that always comes up for a couple weeks every fantasy season and just hasn't caught on. So I'm just going to go with history and say no.
Yeah, I think it might be. I kind of like seeing the Amari Cooper show last week for Cleveland. I think he had over 10 targets in week 2, and caught over 100 or receiving over 100 yards. So it might be back to form for Amari Cooper, which is nice to see.
Yeah, he was definitely slacking to his actual value, and I think Njoku's been slacking too. So no, I'd expect to see a step up on Njoku, which might cut into some Donovan Peoples-Jones. But we got to just see who Brissett likes and who he's gelling with.
Yeah, if you're looking for David Njoku, check out the waivers because I cut his ass.
Don't blame you.
This has Kareem Hunt game all over it after Chubb had 3 touchdowns last week. I don't know why. This has a Hunt game to me.
Oh man, I hope so. I hope it's just like 25 dump off passes by Jacoby Brissett.
All right, who we featuring next, Chris?
Let's go with San Fran Denver for Sunday night, guys. Denver is getting 1.5 at home against the Jimmy G 49ers. Over under at 44.5. D, I'll start with you. Pretty uninspiring in Denver right now. 49ers may have a little life in them. I think, there's rumors going around that the players believe that they play better as a team with Jimmy G at quarterback. So maybe it's a vote of confidence in that locker room. But what are your thoughts?
Russell Wilson has played the 49ers 20 times in the regular season, and he came away victorious in 16 of those games. And he also won his only playoff game against who? The San Francisco 49ers. So is it Broncos country? Let's ride. I'm not so sure, but it's been a really tough going for Russell Wilson in these first couple of weeks here. I'd like this to be a get right game for him. I'm rooting for him, honestly. I know he's a dork, and all jokes aside, I want to see Russell Wilson succeed as a Denver Bronco. He's got a great squad around him, strongest he's ever had, I think. And Russell has taken teams to greatness, so I want to see him succeed here. I think Russell Wilson will not have a great game, but an okay game for you to start in fantasy for Sunday Night Football. He's not going to light the world on fire, but I also think Jimmy G will keep up with him. He's got a banged up backfield in San Francisco, and I think that's going to lead to Jimmy Garoppolo having to throw the ball more than he's probably comfortable with. So I think Jimmy Garoppolo has a nice floor of points in this game as well. I don't know what to make of the backfield. I guess start Jeff Wilson if you have him, but I don't know. This feels like it could be like a Kyle Juszczyk game, or Marlon Mack's debut and he gets a bunch of touches. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it.
Give me a prediction, buddy. Who do you like?
I will take the over on 44.5, but I will take the all right, give me the Broncos plus 1.5.
Glad to see it, my man. I agree. Russ, there's two teams that I think really struggle because of their lack of starting roles in the preseason. That's the Denver Broncos, right? They didn't really play in the preseason, and here in Cincinnati, they didn't really play in the preseason as well. Cincinnati, they had a whole brand new O-line and didn't play them, and you see them suffering. But so I think as they continue to play together and gel, that will assist them. They're at home. They're against a San Francisco team who I agree is going to be better with Jimmy G, and has had a lot of experience in the past where Russell has not with this team yet. They're still trying to gel. So it is very close for me, but I also lean Denver at home. I think they start gelling this week. They also have both of their running backs, right? They're relying on Jeff Wilson in the backfield there in San Francisco. So give me Denver plus 15, but I'm going to take the under on 44.5.
Yeah, I'm going to roll. I don't know. 1.5 doesn't excite me. If I'm betting the game, I'm just going to take Broncos money line. I think they will squeak out the win, and then I'm with you, Mr. Vester, under all day. Because I don't know that Jerry Jeudy injury. That was another injury for my team. Played like half the first quarter, then left the game for good. Just still monitoring that, but just nothing sexy in Denver right now.
No.
I think you start the usual suspects here. You start Debo, you start Javonte, Melvin Gordon, Cortland Sutton, Brandon Ayuk. Can I interest you in a Brandon Ayuk, Tony?
Yeah, what about him?
Would you start him if you got him?
He's been lackluster. I was looking to trade for him today.
All right, you're looking for a buy low on Ayuk. Okay,
yep, absolutely.
Right.
Man, you guys are trading early. After 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah, buddy.
I got some irons in the fire, Chris.
Holy shit!
I'm tired of trading my whole next year away, like mid-season.
Have you checked the waiver wire recently, Chris? It's hard in the streets, man.
As the team who threw up about 85 points last week, I think I should be off looking for some trades as well. But I don't know. I'm rolling with the boys I drafted.
I'd rather have the whole Bears offense than that waiver wire right now.
I doubt that. Hey guys, we talked about last week. Cole Kmet had 0 receptions. He had 0 points in fantasy. That's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
Has he been this year's fantasy disappointment?
Well, it's not like he has. What was it? The baller said 10% of targets because he has a quarterback that's thrown 20 times, which is the second worst quarterback has thrown 50-something times. Like, it's unsurmountable how little he's thrown.
Here's the stat, Tony. Through 2 weeks, Chicago Bears have 28 pass attempts.
Yeah.
Every other team has at least 28 completions.
Yeah. Ridiculous. On the positive, Montgomery looks great, though. He is running like a man with something to prove.
Yeah, they'll let Montgomery run all day on him. They're not pushing the ball down the field in the passing game. Yeah.
To who, Chris? To who shall they pass?
I don't know. The Darnell Mooney, that's another guy I heard about all offseason, how Mooney is going to have a great year. He's got like less than 3 fantasy points in a full PPR league. Like, he is dog shit, dude.
Oh, on 10 and 12 team leagues, he's probably on waivers right now.
He should be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
interesting stat I'll throw out for Jimmy Garoppolo here too. That this is coming from Field Yates. For each game that Jimmy Garoppolo plays at least 25% of the snaps, he earns $250,000. And if the 49ers win that game, the number jumps up to $350,000. So he has a chance to earn over $5.5 million via incentives this regular season. Good for Jimmy, man.
Yeah.
You think John Lynch is pretty thankful that he didn't trade Jimmy G this offseason?
Best insurance policy in the NFL. Great work.
Holy shit. He saved his job as a GM right there by not pulling off of that trade. All right. New York Giants. Getting one or giving one. They are
Given.
They're giving one to the Cowboys. This is a dog shit game. I think the Giants are going to blow them out. Go to 3-0. I think Saquon comes back. I mean, he's still getting the percentage of the snaps for the Giants, getting the looks. I think Dallas is a different team, even though they won. So I like the Giants here going to 3-0 and in a really messed up NFC East right now.
Who did the Cowboys play last week? It was the Bengals, right?
Yeah, the
Joe
game.
Burrow 6 times. The defense looks great. Cooper Rush could be something. I don't know.
Chris, a newsflash. We picked him up in the FFLOP league.
Heck yeah, we did. Your boy, Chris, Tony Pollard, had himself over 100 yards last week, I think.
Listen, I'm on Reddit all day, and their fantasy owners are questioning, hey, do I give Zeke one more week? I preached it all off season. Zeke is done. Zeke's more done than Brady.
Yeah, Zeke is. I don't think he's finished in the top 40 for running back production in the first 2 weeks in the NFL. It's disappointing. It really is. I think his output looks a lot different with Dak under center, but still something's not clicking there for Zeke Elliott. You got it. You called it from the beginning. I was bullish on Zeke, thinking that he was going to have a pretty decent year, but it is not. It is not going that way.
Decent offensive line too, pretty decent offensive line there. So, who do you guys like for the Moose Knuckle fantasy football matchups? Anything sticking out to you guys?
I thought you were gonna pick. You got to pick the line here. You got to tell me who you're taking for the Monday night game, and if you're liking the over under at 39.5.
Yeah,
dude. No, this is Giants all day. This is Giants. That's why I said it. And over under, I would take the over. This has like Saquon going in for 2 touchdowns, Pollard in for 1. Yeah, I think each team could score 21 points in this game. So hit the over, and I go Giants giving the 1.
Going 3-0 Giants. Man. Whoo.
Daniel Jones is the quarterback. Oof.
Are you seeing it that way too, Tony?
I mean, it's not an easy call, but man, at home, it's close. I'll give New York Giants the advantage here, and I think it'll be a little bit more of an offensive swing. So I'll go over.
Yeah. Guys, this is crazy, but I'm taking the Giants in the over.
It's a consensus. Shit.
I mean, I don't feel great about this at all. But
all right,
that's the play.
Listeners, pound the Cowboys. Pound the Cowboys, then.
But to answer your question earlier, it's way too easy to take the Philadelphia Eagles over the Commanders, right, as my lock of the week, right? That's way too easy. So my upset of the week is definitely the Chicago Bears over the Houston Texans. That is an easy take right now. I guarantee you Justin Fields throws more this week than he did in the first 2 weeks.
Tony, the over-under on Cole Kmet catches for the game is 0.5. What do you like?
Oh, can I smash it 3 times?
What a bold prediction. But you said underdogs. They are giving 2.5. Do you give the 2.5?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think we take out the Houston Texans. Lovey comes to town. Come on. He doesn't know. He thinks he knows, but he doesn't know the Chicago Bears team anymore. And, yeah, we take this one. This is definitely 2 teams that are not projected to do well this season. And I think we're going to outcoach the Houston Texans.
I like David Mills.
He's good, man. I don't
I
blame
like
you. I don't blame you.
I like David Mills.
There it
Um,
is. There it
D-
is.
Dietrich, who do you like? Who do you like in that Bears game? Not for your immortal lock. Just curious. I mean, this is a stinker. It sucks that we gotta be forced to watch this as our 12 o'clock game.
I think you're hating on Davis Mills. I think he's actually a pretty serviceable quarterback. I'm going to take the Texans, and I'm going to take what's his name, Damian Pierce, having another great game against the Chicago defense. I think he's got what it takes. Um, there's better days ahead for the Chicago Bears offense. I do believe that truly. I don't know if it's gonna. I think Lovey might pull one out here and get the W.
So you like the money line, not even the.
Yeah, yeah. Give me the Texans, but that's not even my bold prediction.
Oh, I know. I just wanted to hear your Bears pick because I'll give my Bears pick as well. If we're just gonna give Bears picks, I agree. Texans all day. This is the Lovey revenge game. Lovey will go to Chicago, say "fuck you, McCaskies," and get the job done. I like the Texans here as well on the money. Um, and Tony, I do agree. I mean, I think Fields can maybe throw 12 passes this week, so maybe complete 8 of them. Maybe two to Mooney, 3 to Komet, and 3 to St. Brown. Like, I think that could happen. St. Brown's like the number one wideout in that team. The St. Brown brothers are the talk of the NFL.
Physical specimens.
Their father was their strength coach, and the guy is yoked.
Yeah, it shows.
Yeah. Yeah. So, D, who's the mortal lock, though, buddy?
Okay, so the mortal lock. I am going to take the Kansas City Chiefs over the Indianapolis Colts. Just seems too easy. So that's going to be where I'm going to put my money there, and then my bold prediction, guys. I'm going to take the Dolphins against the Bills plus 6.5, and I'm taking the over at 52.5. I think this game is going to be bananas. And I actually think Miami has what it takes to go toe to toe with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And I think they're going to give them a run for their money. Guys, we saw the absolute explosion of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle last week. And I don't think that's a blip on the radar. I think they're capable. I mean, they're not going to go 150 yards and 2 scores each every week, but this is going to be a high octane offense. And your better days are ahead for Chase Edmonds. Tony, I know you're an investor in him as well. A little bit of a painful week last week. I think it's going to get right again. And do I have another stat here? Yeah. Here, I got a Tua stat for you guys.
Love it.
Tua ranks first in pass yards, first in passing touchdowns, first in first downs, first in wins. 2 of them tied for first, of course. But guys, Tua's getting it done. And I'm gonna say he's got what it takes to beat Buffalo for Week 3.
I love it. I'm bullish on Miami as well. That fourth quarter is probably some of the best football like ever done by a quarterback. And to the guy who's been dogged since he's been drafted, Waddle and Tyreek Hill are just specimens. Unbelievable game. Like Miami was down and out. It was the Lamar Jackson show, and just the best game probably of the year. It will probably go down as the best game of the year, and it's very underappreciated. So, with that being said, my mortal lock, Tennessee Titans are dog shit. That is a bad football team. Vrabel's got no idea going on. I called it last week with Tannehill that Malik Willis will see some action, and he did. And Tannehill's on a very short leash. This looks like the Tannehill from the Dolphins era. Raiders choked. Another great game. Arizona pulled it out against them. So Raiders going to Tennessee, giving 1.5. I think that's a lock for the Raiders. I think Raiders bounce back. That is a very complete football team. You've got McDaniels going against Vrabel. They used to coach for each other under the Belichick regime. So I really like that as my mortal lock for the week. My bold prediction, a very underrated team, guys, the Detroit Lions. And I thought Minnesota was that team last week. But, hey, they were, Kirk Cousins on primetime, guys. Am I right? Like the guy is just awful on primetime. So with that being said, Detroit Lions are getting 5.5. I would take the 5.5 in Minnesota, and 53.5 the over. I would pound the over because Detroit Lions has a top 5 offense right now in the NFL, and Minnesota can also throw points up on the board. Justin Jefferson was very quiet this week. Dalvin Cook has been very quiet, so this could be a shootout in Minnesota. So could be the game. Could be another great game as well. So that's it.
Wow, spicy. Two
Like
in a row for Detroit. I do like it too. Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not saying they're winning. I'm just saying they're covering. But I'm rooting for them.
Dude, there's nothing wrong with those takes, man.
I was kind of surprised you left the Jaguars off, Chris. I really thought you might sniff that +7 they're getting against the Chargers.
So here's the thing. Like, I think the 7's a good line. I'm waiting till Saturday because if Keenan Allen and Herbert play, I think that line goes to 10.
Oh.
And then I would take the 10. So I think it's a very conservative line right now. I think that number jumps up if both of them are like, hey, they're playing. So I'm holding out.
It'd be easy to take Herbert out of that game potentially.
God, like if Trayvon Walker ended his season, I'd be really pissed off with the Jaguars. But very convincing win. How can we not talk about it? They shut out the Colts. They're the Colts kryptonite. 24-0. Trevor Lawrence was arguably his best game in his career. Tony, I know you love Christian Kirk. He's probably your favorite player on the roster right now. 2 touchdowns last week. James Robinson played great. Very convincing
receiver right now. You can't
top 10 wide receiver. And guys, they are leading the division. And Talk Radio is now convinced. Keyshawn Johnson said tonight he thinks the Jaguars could win that division. That is a dog shit division.
Yeah.
James Robinson looks nothing short of great.
Yep.
He's playing great. It's amazing to see him. The recovery he's had from his injury. He is explosive in the backfield.
I mean, he's making ETN owners just regret right now. And
yeah,
I mean, there was nothing there. We were all drafting ETN on the hopes of him taking over, but James has just proven, man, he still owns that backfield.
2 years in a row, people have bet on ETN over James Robinson, and James Robinson has made him eat crow so far. So, ISU guy. See, I think he's from Rockford, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Man,
where's he from? Is he from Illinois?
I don't know.
He is from Rockford. You were correct.
Dude.
Yeah, I thought so. We gotta give him more shout outs on the show. I think we can get him on.
There we go.
I think we can get James Robinson on.
Required low light and terrible mics.
But very exciting times down in Duval County.
I'm a little surprised that the Packers are. I mean, I know the Bucs are at home, so I guess that's why the line is what it is. But the Bucs are favored by 1.5 against the Green Bay Packers. That banged up Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady, not playing his best. I think I'm betting the Packers on this one. I really think that Aaron Rodgers showed us that he's got what it takes. I know I was bullish on this last week, and everybody was thinking I was crazy. But Aaron Rodgers showed up. Aaron Jones showed up, and I think I see that trend continuing against Tampa.
Man, Tampa Bay was the top scoring defense last week. It's crazy. Kept them in that game, But I see where you're coming from, man. At home, negative 2 points for Tampa Bay. They're getting the 2 points. I could see Green Bay taking that easily.
Chris, you taking the Pack?
I'm smashing the over. I don't know what the over you're seeing on your side. I'm seeing 41.5. Like, I'm smashing the over. But yeah, I'm going Pack as well.
I'm hesitant.
I mean, it's
I'm not taking that over, man. They both
No?
have great defenses, man. I think they'll be able to limit what they're trying to do. Who's out? We were just talking about not Godwin. Mike Evans is out this week, right?
Yeah, and Godwin probably.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not going to be easy for Tampa, and
this is a trap
man,
game.
I think this is a. I think this is a game for the Packers wide receivers to prove their worth. So I hope that you see somebody like a Christian Watson or a Romeo Doubs step up and show that they can kind of take control of this wide receiver room, because it's not going to be 58-year-old Randall Cobb that running around on the field. And, these rookies got to step up and perform. So we did see a couple of mistakes from Christian Watson again last week. So I still believe, because he's a physical freak and has the speed on the field to be great in the NFL. So just got to get the fundamentals right. Got to get on the same page as Rodgers, and I think you'll. I'm stashing him on my bench. I haven't cut him quite yet. The performance hasn't justified keeping him on the team, but I do think in a few weeks' time we'll be talking about Christian Watson being a giant pickup on waivers and being a substantial player for Green Bay.
All right, you guys have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon on your team. Who are you starting this week?
That's tough. I think you can get output from both. I do think folks that have both players, they probably don't have Jones but you can start both. I think you can start both with confidence. I think Dillon is going to be utilized quite a bit more. I mean, I think they're splitting shares. Let me pull it up right here. Okay, yeah. Packers ran 68 plays week 2. Aaron Jones, 40 snaps, 15 carries on 3 targets. A.J. Dillon, 39 snaps, 18 carries, 3 targets. It's right down the middle right now.
Yeah. It all just comes down to value, right? Where did you draft Aaron? Where did you draft A.J. right now? Yeah.
All right, well,
so DJ quarterback
along the way, so that's nice.
DJ quarterback
got that going for us. But Tony, any parting words before we exit today's show?
No, I just hope to come out of next week as perfect as I did coming into it. I have a tough opponent this week, the toughest I've met thus far. He's definitely recovering from some injuries, so just in time for me to face him. But hey, I'm up for the challenge. How about you guys?
Hey man, it's kind of funny because I think 10 of the 14 folks in the MFFL are 1-1 right now. It's anybody's ball game, baby. This week, it's the Commish Bowl. It's me versus Reese. Reese's got a great team. Yeah, I mean, he's stacked to the gills. I gotta play my best. I'd like to see a couple of my guys that I'm rolling out Thursday night perform. That in Pat Fryermuth and Kareem Hunt. So Chris was talking up Kareem Hunt. I really hope that's the case. And my quarterback play, I don't know. I don't know where to go with that. I got Jimmy Garoppolo and Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill was downright dreadful. So I'm probably starting Jimmy G for Sunday Night Football and hoping for the best. But what I'm not wanting to see is Kyle Pitts all of a sudden explode. He's been a ghost. He's been the most probably disappointing draft pick in most people's leagues, and I hope that he continues to goose for Reese this week. They go against Seattle, which I think are pretty decent against the tight end, so I'm hoping that Kyle Pitts' output maybe begins next week.
Yeah, the issue though is that even if Pitts goes shit, Reese also has Drake London, and Drake London kind of had like his coming out game last week.
I think that's going to do it for us here at the Moose Knuckle Podcast. Hey, how we're doing? Throw us a little comment down below on YouTube, and any feedback, any and all feedback is appreciated. A like and a follow also go a long way. For Chris, who somehow left us, Tony, and myself. I think we'll catch you all next week. Good luck in your matchups.
Hello.
Peace.
Peace.
Hey, Chris, I see you, but Matt doesn't. But it does say offline for me at the very bottom. I don't know what happened.
I have internet and everything.
Yeah, it's weird.
Can you hear me?
Hear him?
I can hear him. I can see him. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Really?
Yeah.
So it must be on
I
Dietrich's
can't hear
side.
Chris at all right now.
No, but
Can you see me?
it says offline at the bottom for Barker for me. So something happened. I don't know. But it happened way late. We got the whole podcast in pretty much. Try to exit and come back. Exit and come back in. I'll stop.